Hi, my name is Chris Ryan. Welcome to the Forest of Arden. Today we're talking about a really important subject. We're talking about ball position, and we're going to show you what effect ball position will have on your golf swing and your resulting shots. So welcome back to the Forest of Arden. This is the 16th tee, this par 4 round to the right down over water. Now in today's video we're going to talk about a really important topic, which is ball position. We're going to do two things in the video. We're going to show you why ball position is so important and what can happen when the ball position maybe moves around from maybe where it should be. And then we're also going to talk about why there maybe isn't a kind of one size fits all when it comes to ball position, and why you might have to make an educated decision as to where you need to position the golf ball through your bag to give you the best results. So when we talk about ball position, we really talk about where the golf ball is in relationship to the stance. So this ball here, you can see I've got that pretty close to middle. This one here would be much more towards my front foot, and this one would be much more towards my back foot. So what we're going to do in a moment is I'm going to set myself up and I'm going to hit shots from each of these ball positions. So one in the center, one forward, and one towards the back. Now we've got trackMan down here. I've set trackMan out to my target in the distance, and what we're going to look at really is just two things, two data parameters with trackMan. trackMan measures so much data, you know, everything: ball flight, trajectory, spins, all that kind of stuff. But we're really just going to look at two in this video. We're going to look at path. So where is the golf club traveling when it hits the golf ball? So that's going to be right, left, or straight. And we're also going to look at start direction. So where does that golf ball take off relative to the target that I've got out down there in the fairway? So I'm just going to get my phone out because I've got the trackMan running through my phone. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to set myself up and I'm just going to hit this one from the ball pretty much in the center of my stance. Now I've got a 6-iron in my hand, so for me this would be pretty much where I'd play the 6-iron from. So I've got my target out there, which is kind of the V in the trees in the distance. So I'm going to try and make my kind of normal golf swing from this kind of normal middle of my stance ball position. Okay, now shot went pretty much where I wanted and ball flight was pretty straight. Now what we can see here is that my club path was 1 degree out to the right, and my launch was also out to the right as well. So my club path was 1 degree to the right and the ball started slightly to the right of my target as well. Pretty good shot, you know, path within 2 degrees of zero is generally pretty good for me. Most elite players who play with a fairly neutral ball flight would be within that 2 degree window. So path 1 degree to the right, launch direction also to the right. That's a pretty good shot. That gave me a straight shot. So what would happen if I suddenly played the ball a long way forward in my stance? So I'm going to take my setup to my same target, but you'll notice just how much forward that ball position is. So let's have a go and let's see what happens. Okay, and I've actually managed to hit that pretty much on my target as well. So the ball finished exactly where I wanted it to be. But you can see there that my path and my launch direction are both well left of target. The minus, the negative, tells me it's left. So when I hit that shot, my path was to the left of the target, my ball started to the left of the target. So for that ball to finish on target, it had to have some curve to the right. So although it ended up in the same place, it had a very different flight and a different amount of curve. So if that started left and my path was left, I think you can probably have a guess at what's going to happen here. So as you can see, ball position is now excessively back in the stance. And again, that ball's finished pretty much on my target. But my path was 14 degrees out to the right and the ball started some 10.5 degrees out to the right as well. So we've gone from a path which was pretty straight to a path which was left to a path which was to the right of my target. Now that path there has jumped around by some, nearly 20 degrees. by moving my golf ball around in my stance. So firstly, why has that happened? Well, if you can imagine that I take my starting position here with the golf ball pretty much in the middle of my stance, and my golf club is working around my body in this kind of big circle, which allows me to strike the golf ball, hit the ball cleanly, and hopefully make a decent swing, make the ball go pretty straight. But as you can see, when that ball is further forward, that circle would now cause me to probably top the golf ball, because the bottom of the circle is kind of pretty close to the middle of my stance. So when that ball is forward, that same swing, that same circle doesn't really work anymore. So what did I have to do to strike that golf ball? Well, I had to change my circle. I had to make a different move to move my low point much more towards my front foot. I was able to do that, but it costs me the path and the direction that my club was traveling in, which is why when that ball position was forward, we saw my path move way left of target. Same thing applies. When that golf ball is more towards the back, I have to change my circle and I have to move my low point more towards my trail foot, which pushes my path way out to the right. So as that golf ball moves around in your stance, what you will have to do to strike the ball correctly is you will have to change where the club bottoms out. You'll have to change what we call the low point of your circle. And to change the low point of your circle, you very often have to change the direction that your circle is twisted in, if that makes sense. So as you can see, if I'm the golfer who's maybe got the ball too far forward in my stance, too much towards my front foot, it's going to promote a leftward path and a left to right curve. If I've got the ball too far back in my stance, I'm going to promote more of a rightward path and a right to left curve. So as you can see, ball position is absolutely vital. It changes so much in your golf swing. If I say to a golfer, if you moved your ball forward, what would change? You know, ball position forward, what would change? The list of what would change is huge. It would change your swing direction. It would change your low point. It would change your start direction. It would change your curve. It would change your path. It would change. There's so many things that would change if we just moved that ball forward or back in the stance. So the second part of this video is to understand what might work for you. Let's take my golf swing as an example. I've always battled with a club which swings to the right of my target. So if I was to aim down the middle of this fairway and make what I would class as my normal golf swing, if I'm not swinging well, my club path tends to be out to the right of my target. Now, on a good day, that gives me right to left shots. On a bad day, it gives me hooks and pushes. So my path gets too far to the right. So a ball position for me that creeps towards my back foot would encourage or move my path further to the right. That's the last thing I want in my golf swing. So for me, a ball position which is played slightly further forward in my stance will tend to help my path and move it a little bit closer to where I want it to be. So for me, a ball position slightly forward of centre is always going to help me flight the ball as I want. But if you're a left to right player, fader of the golf ball, a ball position which is slightly further back might help you neutralise that and move towards more of a draw flight. So this is why you know, when a golfer comes to me for a lesson, they say, what is the ball position for a 7-iron? It's such a difficult question to answer because, yes, there's parameters you want to work within. You wouldn't want to move too much out of those. But you can move that ball position around in that golfer's stance to encourage them to fade the ball, draw the ball, change low point, change curve, all of these different things. So having a little bit of a better understanding about what ball position will do to your golf swing is really, really important. And hopefully what I've done in this video is giving you some information which potentially you didn't know. That's kind of job number one. But two is when you practice and maybe you're checking your ball position, it's going to help you make some more educated decisions. And you're not going to use, you know, what something your friend says or a magazine article to figure out your ball position, but you're going to use the information that you've gained in this video along with your sort of typical ball flight information and kind of put them together and say, okay, well, this might suit me slightly better. I might play better if I can do X, Y, Z with the ball position. So, ball forward promotes a left path, ball back promotes a right path, ball in the middle hopefully gives you a fairly neutral path as I did in there. So thank you very much for watching. I really hope that video was helpful too. It's information that you can take to the practice area, which might make your practice a little bit more efficient and a little bit more specific to you. Usual stuff, as always, is down below this video. There's a comments box down there, there's a like button, and my logo over there. If you click on that, that will just allow you to be a free subscriber of the channel. Would love to have you along for the journey. I'm sure we'll see you back here again soon. Would love to have you. Thanks again for watching.